Uncuckables.
Hello and welcome to the Uncuckables for another week. I'm Tim Wilms, editor and chief of The Unshackled. I'm here as always with the editor of the XYZ, David Hiscox. How are you?
Excellent, Tim. How are you?
And joining us from, it sounds like a kitchen, there's like pots and pans, it sounds like going everywhere. Ben Shan, the Dusty Bogan, how he's going?
Good, mate. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I decided to steal your catchphrase.
Yeah, you bastard. There you go. I'm bringing $5 shoeies to the Uncuckables.
Which means
Anyone
that
super chats and I'll do a $5 shoey.
you've just reminded me to set up Entropy.
I'll do one on the house.
Your missus has got to clean that now.
Never cleaned the knife, brother. That wouldn't be a shoey if it wasn't filthy.
Now, we did promote that James Fox Higgins was going to be joining us tonight.
Go, Dusty!
But yeah,
What an animal.
he got into a big Facebook dispute, and he's quite triggered by that, and he's just curled up in bed, and so he couldn't come on tonight.
Yes, those libertarians can be devastating. Yeah, yes.
So you got permission from your missus to come on tonight, Dusty.
Yeah, that's right. I'm always well behaved, mate. You know.
Hey, Timmy,
That's
you'll be
how
happy.
I'm gonna have like 6 kids.
6 kids.
Repopulate the globe full of bogans, you know.
Oh no!
Make Australia Bogan again.
The mass boganization, not mass extinction.
That's right. They hate me just because I'm a breeder.
Yes, well,
They actually do. Yeah.
was it? We talked about last week. There's that Extinction Rebellion protester who suspended herself from the Victoria Bridge, and she used to be a midwife, but it traumatized her that she was bringing new life into this climate apocalyptic world.
It's fucking just what a bunch of weirdos, eh?
Yeah.
I went down to Sydney. I don't know if you follow my Instagram or Facebook or any of that, but I was down in Sydney last week staying with mates, and one of the dudes there, he said the same thing. He's like, oh no, he was talking to, somehow we mentioned abortion. He's like, yeah, no, I do believe in it because you shouldn't have more than one kid because they could create pollution. And I was like, I didn't think it was real until you hear some moron say it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Well, you're at Rebellion Week Central up there, and now Anastasia Palaszczuk, I guess you could call her a puppet premier because Jackie Trad's the real premier. She's finally going to pass laws they're very specific that because they're chaining them, like they've got locking devices, so when they glue themselves to whatever, that means that it takes police and emergency services hours to do it.
Oh, mate. That's what fucking Anastasia and Jackie Trad get, you know what I mean? They opened the portal from hell when they bought the late-term abortion law in, you know what I mean? And now they're just all the demonic spirits are pouring in and filling the leftards, you know, with fucking brain-dead atheism that's leading them to all that idiotic ideas. So they're just empty vessels, Tim, ready to be filled up with these demons.
So you're saying you're living over the hellmouth up there?
No, it's all right. We're just keeping the balance like this, mate. You know, every time I do a shoey, it just fucking shrinks the fucking demonic portal a little bit.
Yeah.
You're supposed to fucking laugh, mate.
Oh, we just had a bit of feedback. But yeah.
Yes. Well, actually, the feedback was actually laughter, so it was perfectly timed.
Yes.
Which was incredible.
Yeah, you had feedback laughter.
And I've just got Entropy up at the moment. I know that a lot of you are busting to get on over there and participate. So you can ask us questions, we can do a poll, and best of all, you can send us through super chats if you want us to read out your thoughts live on air.
How much will you do a shoey for, Tim?
I haven't got any alcoholic beverages here. I don't want to consume too much fluid during this show.
Oh yeah.
You're worried you might have to run off somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Just
Yeah.
piss into your shoe, mate, when you're done.
Is that what you're planning to do?
That's what I do every time, mate.
You could hand out some advice to somebody that we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might do a story on that, Dusty.
Yeah.
Mm.
He pisses in the same Nike does a shoey out of. He pisses in when he's done.
Isn't
Just
that
a fucking animal, mate.
Isn't that how they say that some beer is made?
Well, if it looks
Oh,
like it
yeah.
and it smells like it, then you know.
VB, you know,
Yep.
down from where you're from.
Exactly. Now, is all the sound good, everyone? I just realised mine wasn't up to the same level as David's. Is that better?
Oh, you're saying that you were actually a little quiet there, Tim.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody seemed to notice. There's actually no complaints. That's because you're so quiet, Dave. Which is quite incredible. The catchphrase of the show is "Let Dave speak." Somebody just asked
it's a
if this
silly
is
name.
live. Of course, it's live.
Yeah.
What else would it be?
Yeah.
Now, everyone's been, I wouldn't say, well, they have been raging about the Joker movie. Basically, how could such a film be made? And I haven't seen the Joker yet. I just haven't been able to arrange a movie night yet. I actually might have to go alone to see the Joker.
Just so you can freak people. Just so you can freak the girls out.
Just
Yeah,
dress
they
up
might
as
think
a
you're an
clown,
incel.
mate, you'll be fine.
Because there's been a lot of posts online. I'm not sure if they're real or not. Cinemas are saying that they have a no white male singles policy. If you're a white male,
Oh, I thought you were just joking about that. It's actually dead set serious.
you have to have a female escort.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm not sure, they might have added there, if you're an incel, bring your mother.
Is that true, or is
That's
that
a
just
good-
trolling?
I most of the ones that I've come across are trolls.
Okay, yeah.
There was one of my friends, he put up a joke sign, but I didn't think it was very funny because he's Indian. So I was like, nah, like, so sorry, but this is only like white people can exclusively make that joke.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we can't have cultural appropriation of this, can we?
No.
No.
Well, speaking, you know how they were all worried about mass shootings at theatres?
Yes.
Do you know how many massacres there were during Joker screenings?
Oh, zero?
Yeah, zero. Dusty, how many were there?
Zero, mate.
Zero.
Interestingly, there was a shooting at a police station in Paris. There was an Islamic convert. I say Islamic convert, like he was a Frenchman who'd come across from the Caribbean, so he wasn't really French. He was an Islamic convert, and he shot four policemen dead, and he injured another two. And at first, the media were putting out the story that he had struggled a lot with mental illness, and that it was a love story gone wrong. But then, naturally, of course, the truth came out that it was basically he did it for.
He wanted his 70 virgins.
Yeah, he wanted his virgins.
But there was
basically. But what we've really got to worry about are white incels at Joker.
Well,
Joker
yes,
screenings.
didn't you know that in Germany it's Yom Kippur, apparently, there was a shooting at a synagogue?
Yeah, I heard that the Yom Kippur worshippers were a little frightened. And
What?
Also that I hear that some Ramadan worshippers, I think it was up in Brisbane, there was a bit of a scare as well recently. Yeah.
But
just today.
but that was, I think I saw on Sky News tonight, it was a far-right white extremist.
Yes.
And so that's the story you got to focus on.
Absolutely, even though
Yes.
nobody was killed. It's really, really important that we refer to them as Yom Kippur worshippers.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that the new name for Ramadan, is it?
That's for Jews. For Muslims, it's Ramadan worshippers, because when hundreds of Sri Lankan Christians were killed, it was Easter worshippers. So
Oh,
yeah,
oh, yeah. Yeah, good on you.
It's called reciprocity, people.
Got to be consistent across the board, you know what I mean?
That's
They
it.
invent this bullshit. It's not, just play the game, mate.
That's it. Play the game. So, Dusty, you were saying that you've actually gone to see it. You've gone to see the Joker.
Yeah. Who did you
Yeah,
go
I
with?
can-
How did you manage to get into the theater? That's the biggest
This
job.
beautiful blonde-haired lady.
Oh, so you were able to abide by the cinema rules then.
Mm.
Yeah. Did you get like a pat down?
Mate, they looked at me up and down.
Oh,
Nah.
yeah.
I told my missus, because she's like doesn't read any of this bullshit, but I said, oh yeah, they were saying there's a threat of mass shootings, and she was like, we need to sit by the exit, and I'm like, I don't know, I think that's where they're gonna shoot. So it was just like, it was the most romantic movie I've ever watched in my life. She's just fearing for her life, holding on to Dusty. Oh, it was amazing. That's how you get in, boys. If you just go on a hot date, take some hot babe to the Joker, and she'll be fucking, make sure you, just before you go and you tell her how there might be a mass shooting, she'll probably sit on top of you.
Well, my first date
I'm gonna use
movie
that. I'm gonna absolutely
back
use
when
that.
I was 17 was actually Rambo. Oh, there's a new Rambo movie out now, Final Blood. But it is. Well, it's not just, he's not just killing people, but they're like, when he like shoots them, like they explode and all the blood comes out.
Yeah.
And so it was an interesting first date. And like everyone else in the theater is just.
Was it like basically like it's kind of like a preamble for what happens later, was it?
Well, I noticed that the audience were just like, they were actually laughing because like the violence was so like graphic and over the top.
Was it the number 3, the one where he goes into Burma?
Yeah, Burma,
Yeah,
yes.
I know what you
Myanmar.
Yeah, I remember that. I saw that too. That
was savage.
Yeah.
Rambo's the hero. He's going to rescue some missionaries,
Yeah.
We've got some questions already. One's from Senator Slayer. Did you see Peter Grace admitting to urinating himself? I saw that short stand-up clip where he said, I wet the bed and I'm awake when I do it. And that's quoting him word for word. And then there's another question
exactly
from
what he said, yes.
Nick Heath, which says, I heard ScoMo shit his pants in 2011. Well, that's not true. The rumor is that it happened in 1997 during the NRL Super League Grand Final between, it was Brisbane Broncos. Do you remember the 1997 Grand Final, Dusty? Are you a Broncos fan?
Right. Is that? Oh yeah, I remember 97. That's when ScoMo shit his pants, isn't it?
Yeah. Did you? I'm not sure how you celebrated that premiership. Do you remember?
Just fucking TPing, just throwing rolls of dunny paper, mate, up in the air, running around.
Yeah, maybe ScoMo needed that dunny paper that night.
It was symbolic.
Yeah, because while you were doing that, apparently ScoMo was at the Endergain Macca's and shat his pants. According to, because I actually did some research on it. It's this hip hop artist Joyride. He says he had a mate that worked in the Macca's that night and witnessed it.
Maybe he just
I
dropped
love
his guts.
this,
How did he know he shit himself?
Yeah, I just love this bottom-feeding journalism. It's great.
Oh, well, I've even seen Sally McManus, the secretary of the ACTU. She's tweeted about it, so she obviously thinks this is the muck that's going to stain Scott Morrison forever.
She can munch that off the carpet. So tell us about the Joker movie after all that.
Mate. No, it was actually brilliant. I thought it was an excellent movie.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spoil it. Like, I think I was saying to all my workmates and brothers and that, and I was just like, gotta go see it. I don't want to be a fuckhead and ruin it, you know what I mean? I'm the kind of guy, I don't even watch the trailers. I'll be like, I don't want to spoil it, you know? This is what I'll say. For me, all the fucking Marvel movies, it's all this CGI bullshit, and it ruins it. I I'm not into it. I don't fucking watch them movies anymore. DC's redeeming themselves. Are making good movies. It's real. It's just fucking dark, and it's truthful. Like I think a lot of people are gonna identify with the Joker and just be like, "Fuck yeah," you know. Who, if you've never just been, I don't know, the poor old Joker. I feel sorry for the Joker in the movie. I think you walk out of there and you think the Joker's the good guy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that was why they made it. It's we put up a review of it by David Hilton this morning, and he was sort of saying like some people are saying that the movie is pro Antifa, other people are saying that the movie is pro alt right. Like, did you have like a take on that? Like, do you think it favoured one political ideology over another, or?
Well, they're saying like all the signs the clowns have. It's like kind of like fuck the rich people.
Yeah.
So it's like this rich versus poor kind of idea, but I think the most important, like, I don't know, I've known people that kill themselves, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you think this is the Joker. This is where the Joker finds this line where someone says, I'm going to kill myself and I'm going to fucking become, do something crazy, you know, do some wild thing. So that's when you think, like, this movie's, like, really talking about something that's, it's probably, like, hits home with a lot of people who get to, like, a dark place, you know what I mean, who are just, like, fucking whatever, depressed, injured, you know, have you seen so many? I've seen people spiral down out of control. You get injured, you know, you get an injury. Who's that fucking Aussie football player who fucking got depressed? The Aboriginal bloke, Greg Inglis. We should make a Joker movie about Greg Inglis. It's like top bloke, athlete, got everything going for him, gets injured. And fucking bang, the injury causes depression, spirals out of control, and the mental illness kicks in, and then fucking from that point, like, what does happen in a person's life? And I think that's like something I look at it and I go, someone can just go fucking bang, turn into the Joker tomorrow.
It's interesting then that they basically trying to make a movie that will that people who are in that dark kind of position or who have been through dark times, they've made a movie that we're going to associate with, and then it's like it presents the solution as basically just going nuts like the Joker.
I don't think I don't think it's an instruction manual per se. It's an analysis, because I watched Paul Joseph Watson's now done 2 videos on the Joker, and his analysis is the reason why the critics hate it is because it exposes what not just them but the entire media, entertainment, celebrity, consumer culture has done over the past 20 years. Like, because the first big school mass shooting that got a lot of publicity was the Columbine massacre in 1999. And it was interesting that Michael Moore, who made that documentary Bowling for Columbine, which actually, you know, explored why those 2 boys did what they did, he wrote a really positive review about the Joker, saying this is such an important social analysis. And Michael Moore, he's part of the obviously he's
a communist.
Yeah, in his documentary,
beast
he's known for lying and
Yes.
misrepresenting things. But because he's an old school liberal, he understands what's happened, and he knew that Trump would win. Even though he said he cried over it, he knew that Trump would win because it would be the biggest fuck you to the establishment ever. And his home state of Michigan voted for Trump. It flipped red for the first time in however many years. And because basically now popular culture, media establishment, politics, academia, they've basically become the school bullies, the bitchy cheerleaders. That's who they are.
Yeah, well, I find it interesting when Dusty, you were mentioning the fact that like when they're holding all the signs, it's all anti-rich sort of stuff. But these days, like the rich are basically the liberal establishment. The rich are the people who are pushing political correctness the most. So it can be seen as opposition against Globo Homo in that regard.
This is why they also had it, because they just want to, the people who are, well, the extreme example is commit mass shootings, but was that the fact that the go-to insult these days is incel, the fact that it's meant to be a humiliating insult, and they don't, what they want to do, the establishment, the left, is these people who are loners, it's because they're evil, stupid, racist, fascist monsters. And they basically believe now in biblical evil, that we're just, that people like that are just born evil. And they don't like something that explains not only how it can occur, but actually they've helped shape this. It's like how Antifa, they've actually recruited a lot of fascists.
So do you worry though that like what they're trying to present is basically saying to sort of people who they've sort of been able to put into a box, like they've got a lot of people on the alternative, the nationalist right, and the populist right. They've put a lot of us in a censorship box where we can't sort of get our message out to normies quite as much as we used to. They basically, like we go out into public and like every time it happens, it's like more and more of our freedoms get taken away. It's like this, they're sort of trying to say, look, we understand you, we get you, this is your route. Like the argument can be like they're actually trying to inspire right-wing terrorism through the movie.
The movie?
Yeah.
I don't think that's their aim.
No?
Because Todd Phillips, it's interesting, because he used to be a comedy director, he made the Hangover trilogy, and he's gone into drama now because he said that...
He said he can't make comedy.
Yeah, because of all the woke bullshit. But now he's made a drama, and he's still getting into trouble. He tried
Well, he must be doing something right then, huh? Yeah.
Yes, but it just shows that the mob, they'll have a go at anything. And I'm actually surprised now, because you can actually tell what the masses are thinking about popular culture through the Rotten Tomatoes user reviews.
What are the reviews for Joker like?
I think as Paul Joseph Watson showed, it's about 88% for users and about 66% for critics.
Yeah, okay, cool. So that basically tells you that it's a good movie.
I can't believe that Rotten Tomatoes, there hasn't been a campaign to get rid of the user ratings.
I mean, either it's the next thing to go. Because like aside from actual like electoral politics, it's one of the few ways that people. It's one of the few uncensored ways that people have of actually getting their voice out.
Because I remember Netflix, they disabled the rating system because too many people were giving Amy Schumer's Netflix special a negative review.
Well, did you notice that actually on Facebook, I don't know if you've seen it, they said that they're trialing a system where only you can see the likes and reactions that your status updates have got, because their argument was that people tend to focus on the number of reactions or likes that a post has rather than the post itself. Like that sounds to me like a pretext to, again, just find a way just to make the people on the right think that they're just on the fringe rather than the majority, you know what I mean?
And also probably means
stopping the way of
that
collating.
people on the left can claim that their posts have got thousands and thousands of likes when they haven't.
Exactly, yeah. So there's another little...
Because it's basically... They're worried that people will see how popular certain posts are.
Yes.
And there's certain
that's exactly it, yes.
stories and public figures who can break the algorithm, because it aims to suppress certain people, but you can break it just through sheer numbers. Like when Clinton body count was trending on Twitter, the algorithm had been broken. They had to correct it in a few hours to have Trump body count trending.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Did you see how Russell Crowe's got a new Ned Kelly show coming out?
Really?
Yeah, that's going to be fucking excellent.
Is it going to be a movie or a series?
It's a series on Stan or something like that.
Oh, good on him.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
I think this is all funny. This is all crazy shit going on. Like, they whinge about the Joker. And then, you know, have you seen this thing about South Park and China whinging about it?
yes.
And you got Dave Chappelle, they whinged about him. So it's like politics infusing itself in fucking media. But it's just not... People are just like, what the fuck's going on here? This is the real awakening. I think when, you know, we're all sitting back and everyone's just like, what's going on? But now it's really getting in people's face, this PC bullshit. And this is really going to be the, hopefully this is the, you know, the wake up call.
I hope it happens in 2020.
It's invading your couch. You know what I mean? When you fucking knock off work and you're like, fuck this, you have a beer. We all live a normal life, and now it's invading your couch. You're sitting on your ass watching TV. And I think people are going to be like, fuck you. Like, and like, I'll tell you guys, this is the thing about the Joker. You know, the Joker's like this guy who says, he's kind of like, oh, fuck you to society, right? I grew up in New Zealand, right? You had all the Maori gangs, even the Maori gangs would have swastikas tattooed to the
Yeah,
swastikas.
I saw a profile of them earlier, the mongrel mob.
Yeah,
Like the
mongrel
actual Nazis in New Zealand are actually the Maoris.
The Maoris. That's amazing.
Yeah.
maybe
telling you,
they
man,
have
what
some
it
ancient
is-
alien blood.
It's just disenfranchised people, man. If you're such a fucking dickhead to people, they will just be like, fuck you, I will not participate in your bullshit society. You know,
Well,
like Jordan Peterson talks about it. You get the big rat and the small rat. And if the big rat doesn't let the small rat win 20% of the time, the small rat just says, fuck you, I'm not playing anymore. I will not play. The big rat has to let the little rat win. And it just says, fuck you. I grew up around this shit. Like, go to New Zealand. They play this big fucking political correct game in New Zealand with that stupid bitch over there.
She's
And
turning
I'm
the place
telling
into
you,
an
man,
authoritarian. She's turning New Zealand into an authoritarian
Whoa,
state.
because
It's
I do
absolute
trans.
bullshit, mate.
I
They
don't.
have more fucking gangs and ethnic gangs like white. They have black power gang, white power gang, the mongrel mob, people with swastikas tattooed to their forehead.
Doesn't sound
Like
so bad.
she's just a fucking retard. She has no idea.
Because I do trans Tasman talk now
I
with
keep telling you, call it Trad Tasman. Yeah.
with my New Zealand counterpart, the editor of Right Minds, Duer de Boer. So I'm getting quite embedded into New Zealand politics. Well, Jacinda Ardern, seems to want to interfere in Australian politics a lot, and because globalism is taking over, I commented this on the show that basically the same sort of news is happening in both our nations, because Extinction Rebellion is happening it's a global thing, so it's happening in Australia and New Zealand. And there was also Scott Morrison's speech against globalism, and there was Winston Peters, the Deputy Prime Minister. He also denounced globalism, even though he's supporting a globalist as Prime Minister. But you talk about Jacinta turning New Zealand into a totalitarian country. It was actually bipartisan, because both the New Zealand National Party and New Zealand Labour Party, they're both controlled by the Chinese Communist Party. They both got... There's an MP
So
on
it's
each
like
side.
it's like Chisholm, basically, huh?
Or except on a grand scale, because
right.
the Labour one, no, it was the National one.
Are we
He
turning you ethno-nat, Tim?
he actually trained CCP spies in a previous life.
Wow.
Yes, and so there's a national one who's got CCP connections and a Labour one who's got PPP connections. Ooh, Sorry. Yeah, so they've both got their handler in each party.
handler.
And when Jacinda Ardern, when she went to Japan for a visit, she said, it's great to be here in China.
Yes,
She's so
I know
used
that.
to spouting Chinese lines that...
She's a racist, just like the Trudeau, mate. They're both fucking racist.
It's called Weiwei.
Now, I keep putting the entropy link in the chat. For some reason, the video can't play, but, well, you need to be on desktop to play entropy, so just keep the YouTube up and then in another tab, entropy. So we've done a poll there, so make sure you get over and vote in the poll. We've got, Nick Heath has sent through a whole bunch of questions. First one is not a question. Second one is not a question. Third one, I don't understand that question. Fourth one, when does the stoning... it's misspelled. Beijing used Latin in their 70th anniversary. Why? Did they?
I don't know. The last one's interesting.
Yeah. And Nick Heath said, is Australian an authoritarian state? Neil, you know. Yes, because Neil Erickson, he went to the Extinction Rebellion illegal protest today where they're blocking the road and he got removed.
He got some footage of Ros Ward in that.
Yes,
actually.
yes.
Interesting to see the commies getting in there.
Well, as far as I know, she's a student now at RMIT.
Yeah, okay.
So
How convenient.
Yeah, she's not a. As far as I know, she's not an academic. She's a student now. But he interrupted their law breaking, so that's breach of the peace.
Yes, we saw that. Yeah.
And it reminded me of a old gab by Blair Cottrell, where he said, and I'll bring it up. Just bring it up here. Said, I reckon if I was shot by a communist, Victoria Police would arrest me for getting in the way of the bullet. Obstructing metal.
Yeah, that's a fair call. Yeah.
Which is
So
basically
why-
sums up
going
Victoria.
on?
Basically sums up Victoria.
Yeah, communist Victoria. Yeah.
Yeah, so all these fucking nutcases are going around this Extinction Rebellion. Like, it's not a good look, is it? Even my boss was telling me about it today. He's like, these people are fucking idiots. He said, are you having tomorrow off and going to glue yourself to a street? And I'm like, I keep telling you, mate, I'm a conservative. Nothing sinks into these people's heads. But
Yeah.
if I'm there constantly talking shit about being a conservative, right? My boss takes no notice of me, and then he's the one telling me, taking the piss out of the Extinction Rebellion. I'm thinking, like, these guys are doing more harm than good for that shitty cause. I'm telling you.
Well, at least they think that at least they understand that Extinction Rebellion are lunatics. Maybe it's just because, like, you're actually into politics. They think, oh, these people are into politics. You must be the same. I don't know.
But they get arrested and charged, then they go before the court and they get it's $100 fine, no conviction, and they're back the next day. Who's the poster boy they're describing as? Eric Serge Herbert. I now remember the name off by heart. The 20-year-old unemployed student who lives at his parents' mansion. He has 3 sisters. There's a famous photo that they use of, like, his older sisters. They're going like ish to him. So like they...
He's the poster boy of the Extinction Rebellion.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
But there's huge outrage at the free speech implications of taking off welfare of people who knowingly break the law and making things that you can chain yourself to in public illegal and that you could get jail for. This is...
Who knows, maybe we could even fine them charge them $58,000 for, just speaking in public as well. Was it how much did Milo, how much did they
50,000.
50,000? And how much did they try to charge Stefan and Lauren?
68,000.
Yeah.
I wonder if the Extinction Rebellion, because they're an actual group, they're not, because Antifa claimed that they're not an actual group. Extinction Rebellion, it's an actual organisation, so you know where to send the bill to.
Yeah, to Antifa, huh?
No, I mean Extinction Rebellion,
okay.
It's an actual organisation.
But maybe we
Yeah,
could
so they
bill
claim to
Antifa
be
as well.
decent. centralized, so no one can fucking sting him, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Like,
send him the
we're
bill.
just like-
Send him the bill. Yeah, because reciprocity, people. Reciprocity.
Why do they keep doing this on the weekdays as well? Like, it pisses me off because I swear we'd all be down, all the Proud Boys would be down there if it was on the weekend.
It's designed to be
I
piss
think
people off.
maybe they're scared of you.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Maybe
apparently...
we'll start talking to them and they'll be like, "Oh, that's right, I am a fucking idiot." Maybe they
Yes.
take a few words and they'll wake up and just be like, "Oh."
Well, they are
Like,
actually...
this is what pisses me off. Like, I have solar panels on my roof, solar hot water panels, fucking solar electricity, hot rainwater tanks, all that shit. I paid for it out of my own fucking pocket. You know, we recycle all this shit. But it's just normal. And I did all that stuff because it saves me money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just fucking normal behavior. And all these retards, like I've got stupid. One of my mates, he's actually anti-far. He follows all the anti-far pages, and it's funny because I've invited him around my house when we've had a Proud Boys meet. I was like, yeah, come around. So we've got an anti-far guy there while we're all Proud Boys there, and he's talking shit, and I'm just like, he sounds like such a fucking idiot.
Oh, you'll turn it.
But the same guy, right, one time he was telling me, he just banged on, we're having these banging on about all this fucking pollution and climate change. We had a beer and we went back to his house. Quickly went back to his house to grab something and then I was like, walked in his house and said, "Hey bro, your TV's been left on, your computer's left on, your fucking aircon's left on, the lights are left on in your house." I said, "You're the biggest fucking bullshit artist I've ever heard in my life." And I bet you that's what these Extinction Rebellion people are, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Piers Morgan, and he's become so base because you're probably old enough to remember when he was in the US hosting Piers Morgan Tonight on CNN, and he was basically raging every night against the Second Amendment and guns in the United States. And then Alex Jones started the petition to have him deported and went on his show saying that, go back to where you came from if you don't like it. And Piers Morgan, his show got cancelled and he took up the free advice and went back to where he came from, which was which was the UK.
Totalitarian England. Yes.
And it's done him. He's been born again. It's done in the world of good. So he took the advice, and look how based he is now because he's taking a stand against all of this genderless stuff. I think he interviewed a woman who she identifies as a hobbit from Lord of the Rings, and like took her to task. And he's got this ongoing feud with Hugh Grant at the moment because Hugh Grant he's trying to stop Brexit, and even though Piers Morgan is a Remainer, he accepts that people voted for Brexit and it should be delivered.
Because
and Piers Morgan is trolling him on Twitter by posting his mugshot from his prostitution arrest with Divine Brown.
Piers Morgan is so based that he's actually shit posting now. That's what
Okay.
Oh,
He's got millions of followers, and so he can do trolling on a large scale. Like he's full on triggers Hugh Grant.
Yeah, give him another 6 months. He'll be putting up "It's okay to be white."
Yeah. So he hosts Good Morning Britain at the moment, and he totally entrapped an Extinction Rebellion interviewee because she was silly enough to take a ride from ITV in the chauffeured car to get to the studio, and so he asked, "How did you get here?" "Oh, it was a chauffeured car." It's like, fell for it. So yeah, that's actually genius gotcha journalism.
Well, you know,
The bitch should have walked, mate.
Yeah, I know she should have.
Yeah, if two can play at that game, huh? That's great. Good on him.
So we've got, it's only Nick Heath, that is a question this time. So they use common law. Why are we not doing it? What are you referring to? Those are really bad questions, I'm sorry. We're reading them out for free, so I don't feel bad in saying that they're crap.
Do you have super chats yet or not?
Yeah, we've got it through Entropy, so... There is the option
Where the
there.
fuck, mate? If you do a super chat, I'll do a shilly for you.
How like, is there a different levels of super chat where you'll do different things with the Chewy?
Mate, just start. You start, and I'll fucking escalate from there. The first one who does the super chat, I'll fucking chip in $1, and I'll do a super chat, and then we're just gonna slow decline into chaos from there. You know.
Dusty, it's an hour earlier over in Brisbane now because apparently if you don't have daylight savings up there, it'll destroy the social fabric of the state, which we've seen this week that the social fabric is being destroyed. So it hasn't made much difference. You may as well just have daylight savings.
Mate, the only thing that matters is the cows get milked on time up here. You know what I mean? So it's like, fuck how everyone else feels. If we had daylight savings, it'd be another hour of stupid cunts being glued to the streets, you know?
Yeah, true that.
I hear that Kerri-Anne Kennelly has put her own opinion on that. Tim?
Well, she's become really based this year because she started off by talking about the Australia Day protesters.
And she basically got Yumi Steins off television.
Well, no, she was a coward. She didn't turn up the next day.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, and she literally
she's basically BTFO'd.
Yeah, and
Yumi
she admitted that she just wanted to curl up in bed the next day.
Yeah,
and she hasn't been seen since. She's just hiding behind her keyboard on Twitter.
Yeah. So, scratch one. Who's Kennelly going to take care of next?
Well, a few days before she made that statement, she was cleared by the Australian Communications and Media Authority of being racist.
Because she spoke the truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so she was obviously empowered by that and said, well, because she also said before the election that if Bill Shorten won, it's the end of life as we know it.
Yes.
And she also had a go at, I think it was one of Channel 10's reality TV shows and said, I dare you fire me over this comment. And so now she said that these Extinction Rebellion protesters let them be super glued there. Like, don't cut them down from their suspension, leave them there, no emergency services, put witches' hats around them.
Mate.
Yeah, speed bumps, and said, throw them in jail and just forget to feed them. And I think Sarah Harris's host is like, you're going to get us in trouble again.
I remember actually there's footage actually. I don't know if it's of an Australian Prime Minister or of a Premier. But when they were referring to socialist protesters back in the day, it might have been in the early days of the Vietnam War. There's footage of them singing, "Run the jolly bastards over." It's magnificent. And I'm in full agreement with Kerri-Anne.
Kerri-Anne Kennelly, she's a TV legend. I mean, she's been in television for 50 years. She's been inducted into the Logies.
She's an Olympian.
Hall of Fame. She's basically the queen of Australian TV, and so she's basically at the stage now where I can say what I want. I don't give a fuck. What are you going to do? Take my award off me? Because that's what the left now. They want her banned from Australian TV for being a racist and fascist.
We've got to get her onto Brother Nathaniel. Hey?
We'll be on fucking Sky News and the Uncuckables next, mate.
Because
get her on, invite her on, man. It'd be epic.
We'll see.
Yeah, invite her on.
Because
I'll ask her about if she remembers her days on It's a Knockout.
Because she now basically is one of the most based television personalities. I mean, well, Sam Newman.
We need somebody.
Footy Show got cancelled, but he got axed from the Footy Show. Yeah. And 6 months later,
the Footy Show died.
Yeah, Footy Show died. But Sam Newman's now got a Twitter account, and so he's still managing to piss people off.
Yeah, he's been quite good. He's making a point of commenting on politics now, on all the identity politics.
And Kerri-Anne Kennelly, Sam Newman, both single boomers. I can think of a boomer celebrity couple that would trigger probably whole of social media.
Especially if you know, those eggs are still working. There's still time, Kerry.
But yeah, Kerri-Anne was back on TV this morning, and she'll be back on tomorrow. You never know what she's going to say next. That's the thing.
She'll say we must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children. Yeah.
Basically, we should do like, Dusty, we can hear interference from there.
Sorry, that's Tommy Robinson ringtone. Someone's trying to call me.
Yeah, shut it up. Haven't you heard of silent? I mean, Dave puts this on do not disturb mode.
It's so Neil can't call me.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, so, but it's interesting that they claim that Kerri-Anne is inciting violence when, like everyone says, oh, she's just saying what we all like are thinking. But you notice that there has been no incident of all of a motorist running down a Extinction Rebellion protest, which just shows the actual decency of Australians.
No, it just means that, like, you know, like if you run them over, you got to get them out from under your car. There's a lot of mess. It's probably going to cost you a lot of money. Is it really worth going to jail over that? You know, it's just,
have you seen?
That's what goes through people's heads.
In the United States,
give us another couple of years of Joker world, and who knows?
You'll never get rid of that filthy hippie smell, mate.
Yeah, it'll be just like that episode of Seinfeld, yeah, where, like, you know, like he gets it dry cleaned twice, and eventually he just like leaves the keys, let some guy take it.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a super chat here from Peter V, who's a big fan of all our programs. They sent in 25 Canadian dollars.
Peter V actually makes some of my favorite super chats.
Yeah, so
he's got his finger on a pulse.
I'll read this out. I think it'll be better coming from me.
Yeah, you do it.
Yeah, Dusty,
Shut
shut
up.
up.
Have to grab another beer so I can do a shilly or what?
No, you've got to listen to this because it's for you. Yeah.
Shit.
Dusty, shut up and eat your baby. Apparently it's good for the planet. Just be careful of all those witches' hats as well. P.S. Do a shoey with a Joker mask if you've got one.
Nah, no Joker mask in this house.
Thank you very much for that,
That'll be
Peter
fucking
Bear.
next week, mate.
Does that mean you got to do a shoey though?
Yeah, fuck yeah. I got to grab another beer, but...
All right, go and get one.
Well, while he's talking about that, let's
Have
talk
I got
about...
time to take a piss or what?
Just you should have come prepared for tonight.
Oh, jeez, mate.
No, we'd rather
right.
you do that rather than do it in your pants. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
We'll talk about your
I was just
babies.
gonna piss in a bottle while I tried to piss in a bottle before, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah, you can get things at the supermarket for that. So you can make it through a whole show.
There you go. You know all about it, Tim. Have you shit your pants tonight or not?
Well, I actually was at McDonald's earlier on, and I did need to go to the toilet, so I could have been famous.
Hey man, if it's good enough for ScoMo, it's good enough for all of us, you know.
That's what every mother can tell her little kid when he does that. You know, one day you could be prime minister, son.
yeah, if like, because you know how like.
I'm getting a beer. See you in a minute.
Yeah, run along. So this Eat the Babies thing, it was quite a beautiful troll of Ocasio-Cortez.
Sorry?
The Eat the Babies troll.
Oh, yes. Well, nobody's actually tracked down the Russian-sounding woman who said that.
Oh, really?
She
disappeared.
I've actually downloaded it.
Oh, you've got the footage.
Yeah, but I've actually got to go into and get it. I played it last week on my Wilms Front program.
Do you know if she was put up to it by 4chan or anything like that? Like, do people know?
For much longer because of the climate crisis. We only have a few months left. I love that you support the Green Deal, but it's not getting rid of fossil fuel. It's not going to solve the problem fast enough. A Swedish professor saying, we can eat dead people, but that's not fast enough. So I think your next campaign slogan has to be this: we got to start eating babies. We don't have enough time. There's too much CO2. All of you
look at their faces.
Too much CO2.
Oh, wow.
We have to start now, please. You are so great. I'm so happy that you're really supporting the Green Deal, but
the eyes are
it's not
starting to
enough.
move.
You know, even if we would bomb Russia, we still have too many people, too much pollution. So we have to get rid of the babies. That's a big problem. just stopping having babies that's not enough. We need to eat the babies, and this is very serious. Please give a response.
Thank you. No, thank you.
Can we see Ocasio-Cortez's response to that? Because did she
Just
actually
at
try
the
to,
end.
Did she try to like disagree with what she said?
That's all that was on the footage that I downloaded.
Okay.
But she said that she suspected the lady was mentally ill and she wanted to defuse the situation.
Right. Okay.
Which she actually does sort of admit her supporters are mentally ill.
It's going to turn into the Joker, mate.
But yeah, she sounded Russian. So what I thought initially is that, because you know how they blame Russian bots for spreading pro-Trump propaganda?
Yes.
They're now in human form now. She's a real-life Russian bot.
Real-life Russian bot.
They haven't quite perfected the American accent yet.
Maybe she's what we're looking at there is a transhuman troll.
Yes, well, I should ask Steele that
Yes.
is this one of what they're working on?
Yes. Yeah, and they have like different prototypes that go out to.
Alright, boys, I'm going to do the shoey then, eh?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know if I can watch.
Hey,
This shoe's just fucking festering with sweat and disgustingness. I went to the gym last night, so it's nice and disgusting.
She's a Russian Cylon.
I'll fill it right up to the heel for you. You can see when it starts dripping out of the back, you know that's when it's real good.
oh god. Hopefully someone does a highlights package of that. Ooh.
What an animal, eh?
There's a lot of new accounts that I'm seeing in the chat.
Yeah. People, yeah, I'm loving the chat tonight. I'm loving the names of the people in the chat. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
I
Yeah,
want
I-
to see you blokes do a shoey from it next
I'm
week.
not doing a shoey.
You won't do a shoey, come on.
I'll have moonshine. I'm not doing a shoey.
Pull Tim's dirty fucking shoe off his foot and just bang. Knock
You
my back, mate.
Nah, not gonna happen.
I remember was when probably it was election night when Maddie got the most.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah, when he nearly flipped over this table.
Yes, I just when I don't know if it's fair to sort of talk about like what he said when Scott Morrison came out. Without Maddie here, like we'll wait for Maddie to be here for us to mention what Maddie said. But it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Maddie was he was too triggered tonight also because of some comments made about him to come on tonight.
Yeah, apparently, yeah, both James and Maddie are in fetal positions.
Yes, because they got destroyed by some very credible people.
Yeah, because words hurt them.
So I hope they're okay. Send them a care package, Maddie and James, because they're not doing too good.
I need to introduce them to the Bogan life. You just don't give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people who've mocked you.
Yeah, who gives a fuck what they think of me?
But don't you want like their approval? Like, aren't you out to impress them?
Not at all. I'm a Christian, mate. Just like Israel Folau. Just give him that. Nah.
Did you know that the latest on
But more
Israel
like-
Folau
it's
that
like that, but,
he wanted to play rugby for his native Tonga, but there was an appeal to the International Rugby League Board, or should be called the Globalists Rugby League Board, and they said no, he can't represent his nation.
What a fucking joke, mate. What a
Who
bunch
made-
of traitors.
Who made the appeal and who made the decision?
I don't know that off the top of my head. Do you know?
No.
I wonder what the color of the people who made that decision was.
I'm sure they were. Yeah.
Green, bro. Green goblins. And they probably smell like sulfur as well.
Yeah, they were lizards. Yeah, lizards
Yeah.
made the decision. Yeah,
Those interdimensional lizard people, mate.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Now, you see if you can understand Nick C's questions. He's got a whole bunch more there. This could be who we think it is, who we might suspect.
No, that's not. It's not piss pants.
Oh yeah, but I can't understand many of those questions. So if you're the English expert.
Pardon me.
Ugh.
Everyone probably got that.
The last question is a question.
Yeah.
The last one's a question. Do you want to read that out?
Are our children next?
I know the one after that.
You can shoot yourself and become Prime Minister.
No, down.
By Senator Slayer.
Senator Slayer. He's actually.
Oh yeah. Dude, Emilio used to be a Nazi.
Did he?
Can you be a Mexican Nazi?
Well, you can be a Maori Nazi by the sounds of it. Yeah. We'll have to ask him.
Yeah, so I'll just ask a Mexican.
Yes.
Well, apparently...
Have you guys noticed how, have you seen the Rambo movie?
No.
It's all Mexicans, like a lot of Mexicans.
Yeah, isn't he stopping the Mexicans getting over or something like that?
Yeah, it's like an ad for the wall, like the Rambo movie. It's beautiful.
That's
And then I seen the trailer for the Terminator movie, and it's all fucking Mexicans. It's just like half the movies, and I don't know yet, but it's like the Terminator, the liquid Terminator, the bad Terminators are Mexican.
Oh, really?
And I'm just thinking, like, what the fuck's going on here?
Well, at least we got Sylvester Stallone and Mel Gibson. You know.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, but what I'm saying is at least we got Sylvester Stallone and Mel Gibson on our side.
Yes, well, we don't know if they're actually... Well, is Sylvester Stallone actually political?
Oh, I reckon he's just one of those guys who... Well, you know, like he wrote...
Person.
Yeah, he's a normal person. He wrote the script for Rambo. No, yeah.
And Rocky as well.
And Rocky, yeah.
Because Rocky is basically... Because it's an American hero up against a thuggish Soviet.
Oh, yeah, yes. And it's also like his... the character Rocky is a composite of several great boxers. He's just... he's not an SJW, and that in itself becomes political because
He's
like
patriotic.
yeah,
Rambo. Oh, Sylvester Stallone. He loves America.
yeah.
But
And
the thing is, if you look at the Creed movies, like he's promoting a civic nationalism. Like,
Even though Creed's son was the villain from Black Panther.
Oh, really?
Well, because I'm not sure if you've seen Black Panther, but I saw it. The villain in that, I can't remember his name. He takes the black nationalism too far. He wants to use Wakanda's secret power to like destroy the white people, and they're like, no, this is too far.
Black Panther was propagandizing for black civic nationalism.
Yeah, civil nationalism, I should say. But it still...
They were kings, yeah.
It still
kings. They
has
used to
like
be
an
kings.
anti-white message, because the reason Wakanda keeps all of its wealth secret is so the white colonizers don't go in and get it out.
Yeah.
Because we all know that decolonization of Africa after World War II, it just totally fixed the continent.
Absolutely. There was a movie
so that
with
was
a similar
the last
kind of
continent to be colonized, and then the first to be fucking everyone get out of.
Get the hell out of there.
Do you know when that?
Yeah.
Last continent to be decolonized was East Asia. When the British gave Hong Kong back to China, which has worked out great. They're feeling so free over in Hong Kong. It's worked out great.
So what you're saying is we should take over the world again, right?
Well, the people protesters in Hong Kong, they're waving the British Hong Kong flag, they're singing "God Save the Queen." They're calling out for recolonization.
Yeah.
I had Shanju Lin on my show a few weeks back. She's a Taiwanese Australian. She doesn't identify as Chinese. She identifies as Taiwanese. She's a Taiwanese nationalist, but she said we'd actually love to be...
She's not a Taiwanese Australian. Like, she's a Taiwanese.
Yes, but she wants Taiwan to be the 51st state of America.
I had this, get this, but I had I was mowing lawns, right, for extra cash because my brother broke his back and I had to pay for his, well, we were getting money together to pay for his spinal surgery. I was mowing a lawn for a rich Taiwanese family, and they gave me $2,000 towards my brother's spinal surgery, just like that. Bang. Like, bang, just here you go, mate. There you go. That's pretty amazing, isn't it?
That's the Christian virtue.
I don't even know if they're Christian, like.
But it's a Christian virtue.
It is a Christian virtue. I know that family has they admire the Bible, but I don't know if they're Christian to say. But yeah, I was like, wow, it was amazing.
Do you know who's probably the most famous conservative filmmaker that you never knew who was a conservative?
Joss Whedon.
No, John Hughes. You know his films? He was the one that made 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and Planes, Trains, Automobiles, and Uncle Buck.
Actually, I have heard this argument.
If you actually analyze those films, like for example, the Breakfast Club is basically, because they're all in detention, they all represent the different cliques in high school, and they actually, because they're in detention together, they actually learned that they shouldn't be divided and stereotyped the way they are. It's basically an anti-classist movie.
Yeah, I hope because I heard that they are making a remake of it. I'd love to have a remake where basically they all end up realizing, hey, we're all white and we have to secure the existence of our people in the future for white children.
But Ferris Bueller's Day Off, it's because he doesn't take the day off to like go and be a criminal. He wants to see the world, see Chicago. And you have Mr. Rooney, the principal, who's like, he's having too much fun. I've got to crush him. He's, making all the children happy.
So Mr. Rooney is a globalist, you're saying?
Yeah, but like he's designed to be this like totalitarian, strict, and of course he gets humiliated in the end when he gets the dog like chews him up. And he has to take the school bus home with all the young kiddies who are all like looking at him.
Yeah.
And I won't go over Planes, but Uncle Buck, have you seen that?
Oh, I think I've heard people talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's the.
So they had the what's his name?
Yeah, John Candy.
Yeah.
So he plays the childless uncle.
Yeah.
The parents get called away in a family emergency, but because they're both working, the daughter, like teenage daughter, is really resentful because, well, they're not being parents, they're all away. And so she, like, doesn't like Uncle Buck initially, but, like, because he is family and, like, he's good-natured, and because he's looking after children, Uncle Buck, he actually learns how miserable his life is without children, and that to be happy, like, living this bachelor lifestyle is actually, it's not very self-fulfilling. And
so he's critiquing the sexual revolution, the cultural revolution.
And but because do you know how John Candy died in 1994?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, John Hughes, he decided to retire then because he basically believed that John Candy worked himself to death, and John Hughes had a young family, and he was like, I've got to get out of Hollywood. Look what it did to my best friend. And so
remember what Kanye West said about Hollywood? It's satanic.
Yeah.
Kanye said that. Good on him.
So
just on a similar kind of subject, has Paris Hilton just disappeared off the face of the planet? Because she was a smart lass, if so. Like she made her money, sold herself, but got the hell out of there. Yeah.
Also, John Hughes, he wrote the Griswold movies as well. The vacation movies, which is basically, Clark Griswold, don't you? You don't know Clark Griswold? Chevy Chase played the Griswolds. You know who the Griswolds are.
What kind of movies you watched, Tim? These are like, when you were a kid, you watched all these wholesome, amazing movies, and I was just watching Predator and fucking Rocky. Side, like fucking shitty.
I spent my childhood watching Star Wars.
Yeah. Oh, I was brought up with family values, so of course I watched these secret coded family values movies, but. Basically, the family vacation movies, the Griswolds, it basically is a critique of how like obviously you have like, you know, being in a family, there's often like stressful situations, fights, and there's often disasters. But at the end of the day, Clark Griswold, he wants to he wants his wife and his children to be a family and to foster that, even though it always doesn't work out.
Yeah, right.
And it's full of slapstick comedy as well,
Yes.
because he is a class.
Because it's John Candy.
Yeah.
This isn't actually a really, really interesting tangent while we're still on this.
Yeah, my
Joker
first
thing.
tangent.
It's your first tangent. It's a good one. Because it's something I've thought about as well. Because if you think of some other old kids movies, there was the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and then Honey, I Blew Up the Baby. That was basically kids being put in a situation where they have to fend for themselves. The parents doing everything they can to find the kids. The kids prove themselves out in the wild. They have a sort of coming of age. Then they'll come back together and celebrate how much they all love each other. The Home Alone series as well, they were basically the same kind of story. Like, yes, you separate the child from the parents, but the whole story is about the child fending for himself and becoming a man, and the parents doing everything they can to get their kid back. It's like, can you imagine that sort of stuff being made today? I don't know, like because these movies, they were made with all white people. Like the white people were the main characters, and you had white families as the main characters as well. There was none of this miscegenation going on, like this mandatory miscegenation, and it was just absolute family values. Often, like it was basically Christian values as well.
Yeah, that's why a lot of these movies now are so terrifying today. Do you remember the film The Revenge of the Nerds? Have you ever watched that? Yeah. That is basically, like, those nerds now, they're basically the pariahs of, because back in the 80s it was about it was about nerd empowerment, because, you know, they were the ones being bullied, picked on, and this was but because they tricked and manipulated these girls into having sex with them.
Oh, they use game.
Yeah, it's a rape culture movie. These nerds, they're sexual predators.
Yeah.
So basically, in 2019, if you see a nerd, you've got to go, nerd! It's okay to pick on nerds now, it seems now. That's basically what the message of the current year is.
Well, yeah, basically telling white guys you're a white incel nerd.
Yeah.
And you're dangerous, and you're the only person who are allowed to pick on. Yeah. Which again is...
I noticed that slack bastard called me a geek.
Yeah, I think that's his way of saying that you're smart. Just one thing about incels. Like incels, the incel board on 4chan existed for quite a long time before it became... It sort of sprung into the popular consciousness. And they were basically... I know guys who used to like just read their stuff. They weren't incels, but they just found them so funny. And like that, it's the thing about the incels, like their humor, because they're so bleak, the humor was just like on another level. And it's, you know, it's only after a couple of guys have sort of, you know, taken things too far, Joker-like, that it's sort of been used as another kind of way of demonizing white men. But it was actually a word that they gave to themselves. And it was a way of just them having their own community.
You know how Tucker Carlson, he said on his Fox News show that white supremacy, it's basically a hoax to scare everyone shitless into supporting the police state, which is basically they have on MSNBC now. Remember a few weeks back we played that former FBI, he wasn't the director, he was just some director of some no-name division, Frank Fesney or something. He was the one that said raising the flag on 8/8, the 8th of August, was a secret Nazi symbol. He's basically on MSNBC now saying that we need like a police state, we need a database of all these white supremacists. And this is the hilarious thing about this. I called it last night the swastika terror, or the swastika scare. That basically it's made the left, who used to be afraid of Big Brother, endless wars, and a police state, now basically be in love with it now. They're demanding that ASIO get more funding to monitor far-right people.
Yes, yeah.
And they're also, because Trump this week, he's fulfilled his promise, well, part of his promise, I should say, to scale back the wars in the Middle East. He's withdrawn troops from Northern Syria because ISIS is defeated. But apparently, this is actually a pro-war move, because he's basically approved Turkey to start a war by invading Northern Syria. So non-interventionism is now the green light for war. You're a warmonger now.
Yes.
And I saw this afternoon Penny Wong quote Lindsey Graham in saying that those troops should stay there.
Yeah, you're talking about the hypocrisy of the left. It's
Trump
quite
derangement
stunning now.
syndrome,
Yeah.
and the swastika scare has basically got the left to support totalitarianism hook, line, and sinker.
We'll just mass migrate all the Kurds, mate. Just get them out. You know what I mean?
I'm actually of the opposite opinion. I don't care about the Kurds.
Well, that's what most people have said. Like, why do we... Like, they didn't fight for us. They fought for themselves.
Yes.
They say, like, we're abandoning the Kurds. They helped us defeat ISIS. They didn't do it for us. They did it for themselves. Like,
yes.
they're a communist, non-existent state.
Yes, I'll get to that in a bit. Like, we've got to remember that with the Kurds have always been that kind of... aside from Israel, they've always been that thing that gets us, like, drawn back into the Middle East. Like, after Saddam gassed the Kurds in the early 80s, we're all supposed to feel sorry for them.
Did that actually happen?
Well, somebody gassed them. And so then when during Iraq War One, George H.W. Bush said something which sounded like a call to arms, and so the Kurds rose up. Saddam Hussein massacred a whole bunch of them, and so that was sort of held over our heads for years and years and years, and it was actually used as one of the arguments of why America should have driven all the way to Baghdad in the first place, and B, why we should actually go back to Iraq and invade Iraq for the sake of the Kurds. And so it's kind of like that they've been used as the reason for us to go in there. But I loved what Lucas Rossis said about the Kurds a couple of years ago. Like, he did a
and he's
summary.
said this
Yeah.
to me privately this week.
Yes.
So I'm obviously not breaking confidences.
No, not at all. Well, he wrote this on XYZ a couple of years ago. Imagine a cross between a gang of Marx-spouting communist fruitcakes and a fractious alliance of Muslim mafia clans, all eager to stab each other in the back, armed with tens of thousands of Kalashnikovs and the very latest in heavy American military equipment. That's basically the Kurds. So just talking about how the Kurds basically, why they're there. During World War I, when the Turks were wanting to religiously cleanse their empire's heartland of filthy Armenian, Assyrian Christians, but they had a problem. The pesky war was taking up all their military resources that could otherwise have been usefully directed towards genocide. The solution? Promise the Kurds the property of anyone the Kurds ethnically cleansed. And that's why the rebels in northern Syria today are Kurdish Muslims rather than Middle Eastern Christians. The Kurds are sometimes literally living in what were once Christian houses. So, yeah, basically, like, don't feel sorry for the Kurds. Like, if we're supposed to feel sorry for, say, like, our colonial past, if we're supposed to feel bad about wars in the Middle East, don't feel sorry for these guys either. Everybody there is a baddie.
Well, every different ethnic group, religion has done bad things throughout history.
Yeah. Well, you could see it as just doing good things for your people.
Well, yes, there's also that
If
as
you
well.
see survival as a good.
But remember the Yemeni attack on the Saudi oil facilities?
Oh, yes, the Yemeni attack.
Yes, by the Houthi
The
rebels. they claimed responsibility for it. And remember that they were trying to prep us for war with Iran, saying petrol prices are going to go sky high. I think in Melbourne it went from about $1.35 to $1.70 per litre. But most people just when they saw that rise, they weren't thinking, yeah, we've got a carpet bomb Iran.
They're like, get us the hell out of there.
No, they were thinking, because it was the beginning of school holidays, they just went, bloody Shell raising the price of petrol just for school holidays. Bloody typical. That's what they were thinking.
Yeah.
And not like, You know, they weren't catching war fever.
No, no. Well, yeah. So back to the Kurds just for a moment. So then, it's like the Kurds are once again being used as that, in that same kind of pattern, because American troops are basically there to form a block, to form a wall between Turkey and the Kurds. And so, like, that's the pretext for them being there, but really it's basically just a tripwire so the neocons can get their war with Iran. So what, it's, to me, it's quite symbolic that, like, Trump is basically saying, you know what, to hell with it, they can fend for themselves, they can look after themselves. We're not going to get involved in any of this anymore. If they want their own country, fight for it.
I noticed that James Fox Higgins this week, he triggered quite a number of globalists, basically by saying, I don't care what happens in Hong Kong and China. In fact, given how rapidly China's growing, we can learn a lot from it. I think I've actually got have I got the tweet here? I'll just check. Let's see if I've got it. Oh yes, I've got it here. Here we go here. So I read this in James's absence. Oh, I nearly removed the desk. I've stayed pretty quiet about the situation in Hong Kong, waiting to form an opinion that isn't mere groupthink. Here is that opinion. If you're not a Hong Konger or a Chinese, mind your own damn business. It's not your job to morally police the whole damn planet. Shut the F up. And yeah, there was a lot of people who didn't like that.
Yeah, a lot of interventionists.
We believe in free speech, so we're going to fucking whinge about everything. You know what I mean?
Well, Tim Wilson, the member for Goldstein, Liberal member for Goldstein, he actually went to Hong Kong to take part in the pro-democracy protests, which caused a lot of controversy, basically because the Australian government doesn't have a position on the Hong Kong protests. And it was interesting. Tim Watts, who's the Labor member for Gellibrand, he actually unleashed his internationalist, saying, and he brought back Tim Wilson's old nickname, Freedom Boy, even though Tim Wilson's 39 years old. He said, he seems more concerned about human rights and democracy in Hong Kong rather than back here in Australia. So come home, Freedom Boy.
Well, he's right, huh?
Yes, Tim Watts was unintentionally a nationalist. He would be horrified by that because he's interacted with Slack Bastard on Twitter, Tim Watts.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so Tim Watts, unintentional nationalist statement.
Yeah, see, everybody comes around eventually. Everybody comes around.
It's basically
to
when you're in the partisan. Well, you saw Penny Wong today basically spouting neocon lines, and this is how the left are. They're just basically, they take the opposite position of their perceived enemies, and they don't realise what they're spouting.
Well, Penny is a globalist. I also found, like, on the subject of free speech, I found it interesting how there was the NBA player, I think, who tweeted something about China. The NBA owner who tweeted something about China. And then he apologized, but then China, as is their want, they overreacted, and they're cancelling, they've stopped broadcasts of NBA preseason matches and all this sort of stuff. And so the NBA has made a big fuss about this and said, hey, we actually support the free speech of the NBA owner. I say fuck the NBA, because the NBA have no problem clamping down on dissent if they perceive it to be racist or anti-Semitic, or transphobic or homophobic or Islamophobic.
But it's
since when did the NBA care about free speech?
It also means, because people have been saying, the NBA is stomping on freedom. So I've noticed the same people are complaining about corporate virtue signaling. A lot of corporations campaigning for the human right of same-sex marriage, for example, and now demanding they stand up for the rights of people in Hong Kong. So they're actually calling for more corporate virtue signaling.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So
never expect them to be consistent.
Because they're actually, the NBA they're just worried about their bottom line. Isn't that what a corporation is supposed to do?
True that.
That's what they all do. That's the heart of the PC culture, isn't it?
Yeah. I feel like we're now in a Katy Perry song with some people. That hot and cold one. Well, she is the literal hot and cold because she was originally a gospel singer and now she's a degenerate.
Yeah, then she kissed the girl.
Well, that was just the beginning.
Yeah, that's how they got her in. Tangenting back in that case, I don't know if I can really call Revenge of the Nerds like conservative movies, because it's something that I find quite interesting. Like, when did nerd movies start up? Because, like, let me put it this way: like, if you want to, if you want to promote like sort of healthy masculinity, just healthy behavior, a healthy way of interacting with the opposite sex, you're going to be like making your heroes the jocks. Like, when you look at like who we look at, you know, like we have sporting stars and all that sort of stuff. They're always the jocks in high school, and like quite often they're the most confident men. They're often the guys who are going to be out there on the front line defending your nation, defending your women and children. They're the guys they're the guys who go out and risk their lives for us. But instead, Hollywood, there's just this trope all the way through Hollywood of promoting the nerd.
But now they've turned on the nerd.
Yeah, yes, now they have turned on the nerd, but like, don't be fooled by that, because they're always promoting the nerd and that kind of mindset. And I think that you'll find that a lot of the writers, a lot of the producers, a lot of the movie makers, they're the nerdy type. They're the weenie, high pitched voice kind of sounding, a little weenie. You can think of a certain race that, like, you know, is stereotypically that way, and you can sort of see those nerd movies as promoting, like, basically their outlook.
But don't underestimate nerds, because just because they've got glasses or have braces, like underneath, like you don't know what's underneath that, like bow tie. Could be actually quite a buff body.
Well, if they work out, they won't be nerds anymore, huh?
But it's like it's a disguise.
They can upgrade to geeks. Yeah.
Oh, is there actually a difference between nerd and geek?
Yeah, there is.
But
yeah.
Isn't there, like, I always think like it's always about character. Like, I don't know, from a Christian perspective, I don't think the buffest dude or the smartest dude. You know what I mean? I think there's like a part of character, even for what you're saying, like to be more of a nationalist who's going to create a family. You know, be a real nationalist. It's not all about muscles, because what's the percentage of people who have the genetic muscle? 5%, 10%, so 90%. Like in past,
you don't have to be.
You
You don't have to be Sylvester Stallone, no. But
no.
Yeah.
Well, there's these things called.
Character is what produces all this stuff, and really, it's not about being the smart. I don't think. Here's the stupid thing: it's not about being the smartest or the strongest. You know what I mean? It's not. There's 5% on either side of that spectrum, whether you're a nerd or a fucking jock, and then there's 90% of everyone else, and thus slowly deteriorating the culture and the character of men and women. And then what's that producing? More cultural relativists, moral relativists who are going to abort their own babies. They're not going to have the guts, or the courage or the confidence to do anything. You know?
Yeah, well said, Dusty.
It's absolutely pathetic. Like,
I like the word that you use. You use the word character. That's vital. It's central to it all.
We have got words in the question box. Senator Slayer, that's not a question, so I'm not going to read it out.
That's true, though.
Yeah. Nick Heath, so Hong Kong, and why are they fighting for their freedom? Well, ask them.
Oh, we don't care.
No, I'm just saying ask them. Like, are you wanting me to white-splain it?
Yeah, can you white-splain it too?
So they shouldn't have a political voice. I'm not sure. Are you referring to the Hong Kong people? Of course they should. It's their nation. So I am continuing to put the entropy link. We do have a poll that you can vote in. And of course, if you're writing things in the question part, it's got to actually be a question. This is not like Q&A where you're allowed to make a comment and all Tony Jones says we'll take that as a comment. That's not how it works. If you want to make a comment, then you've got to send it through as a super chat. You've got to pay for that privilege. So no statements as questions. Do you remember? Because I don't go to these.
Just answering Bieber anti-bullying. Sun Tzu was a warrior scholar. Yeah. Yeah, you were saying Tim.
I was saying, have you been to those political event Q&A things? I haven't been to them in years.
The what?
When you used to go to and hear a speaker, like for example, we both met, I think for the first time at the Jordan Peterson, the first Melbourne thing. I don't think there's going to be a Jordan Peterson tour for a while, not until he gets out of rehab. But I remember then Bettina Arndt was the MC, and she said, question time, we don't want to hear your life story. Because that's basically what it is. People, they make a essay or a statement, and basically the MC has to get them to the question.
Yeah. Yes, I know exactly what you mean. I do live streams with Maddie.
Well, that's his platform. Like, that was the Jordan Peterson event. It's his show. You're supposed to ask a question of Jordan Peterson. He answers. It's not Jordan Peterson plus other statements.
Yeah. Oh, so that's you're referring to the entropy chat.
Yes, it's got to be a question, not a statement. Okay. No, that's not a question.
Tim's laying down the law, people.
I think I'd be good at this, shutting down statements as questions.
Yeah, see, once you stalk down the path of censorship, forever will it dominate your destiny, Tim.
Yes. Oh, well, it's interesting the anti-free speech people complain about being banned.
Yes. Yeah, it's been quite a fun week on that regard. Yeah.
I shut down people on my chats. You know what I mean?
Oh, you ban them?
I free speech. I'm free speech, but I'm just like there's a certain amount of fucking. This is what this is about. If you want to fucking talk about that, piss off. And if you just want to talk about one subject for 1,000 years, then it's not going to happen. Like, this show's not about looking for Bigfoot. If we start fucking talking about hunting on Bigfoot in your comment section and you just go, sorry, mate, you're fucking sayonara. You're gone.
Have you, Dave, got an invite to the neo-Nazi concert this weekend, which apparently is going to be as big as Woodstock, according to the mainstream media? Get Up have got a petition of 30,000 people calling for it to be banned, and Daniel Andrews has said, I can't legislate fast enough for it to be banned. There's an article on XYZ.
I would have gone, but I'm seeing Pliny instead.
Sorry?
I'm seeing Pliny instead. They're an Australian progressive rock band.
Well, if you're in attendance, then that means that they support Nazis.
Apparently.
Because apparently musicians these days, they don't like far-right people enjoying their music. Because I think Corey Bernardi put together his favourite tracks for Australia Day, like the Australian Conservatives' Hottest 100, and he included Darren Hayes in it, and Darren Hayes is like, I do not want to be included on this. And people are saying to Corey Bernardi, oh, you shouldn't like Darren Hayes' music because he's gay, and Corey Bernardi's like...
He made his own Spotify playlist.
Yeah.
You could get his Spotify playlist, Corey Bernardi. I remember.
Yeah. And it was done It was done recently by Kerri-Anne Conway when she was talking about Taylor Swift had launched a petition to pass the Equality Act. And so she was asked about that, and Kerri-Anne Conway says, I think that people who are getting all hot and bothered by that petition, they need to calm down. They're being too loud. Which is her song.
Yeah, okay.
That's actually... like, she's written that song, Taylor Swift. It's supposed to be against homophobes and religious people.
Yeah, I know.
But it's basically should be against the left and Antifa, because they're the ones that need to calm down.
Yeah. Well, personally, I always liked her song style. I thought it was a beautiful song. Yeah. It just brought back the 80s. It was really well made. Yeah.
So if someone's being unhinged, I just send them the link to that.
You need to calm down.
Yes,
Yeah.
being too loud.
Yeah. So yeah, here in Victoria, basically get out of Victoria.
Yeah.
Because
Do you want me to
looks
share
like,
the article?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because this is going to be, I've got to do this complicated thing here.
Yeah. So the Victorian government wants to stop hate speech before it happens. That's basically
Pre-hate speech.
Yeah, pre-hate speech.
How am I going to read the Bible, mate?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's it. Well, they want to shut that
reading
down.
The Bible in the bloody in public, mate.
All right, it's your...
They're wanting to...
Can you work a mouse, David? You've struggled in recent times.
Can I just get you to go up or down?
No, you bloody do it. I'm sick of it.
I'll tell you what. If you can actually engage the things I say rather than changing the subject, you know.
Yeah, I'm just going to take a breather. That person who said that, it wasn't a question.
Just dance, mate.
Okay, so I have a little bit of fun with the preamble, mocking the way that the police have changed over the years, especially, hang on, this one right there. Just seriously, I do not fear that police officer.
How pathetic is that?
It's
cop
pretty
with
bad.
The gay flag.
Yeah.
That's fucking a blue demon, mate.
Yeah. And tell you what, if you saw that one underneath him sort of coming at you and sort of telling you to stand down, like, you'd be shaking in your boots, really, wouldn't you? Anyway, so this is what Daniel Andrews has said. This is like a direct quote from the Premier. Oh, so this is the ABC quoting the Premier. The Premier said he was working with the Jewish community to strengthen laws so authorities could intervene to stop hate speech before it occurred. So what they're referring to is basically they're wanting to shut down the concert because they think that there's going to be hate speech at the concert. But the implications of that sentence are far-reaching. Because if they think that if you're somebody who's going to commit hate, what they deem to be hate speech, they can stop you from speaking in the first place. They may decide that they need to arrest you because you might do hate speech. That's
what was the movie Minority Report with Tom Cruise?
So in Minority Report, that's where they had this technology where they could see the future and see who was going to commit a crime.
Policing.
Yeah, so that they would arrest them before they committed the crime, so that in theory you prevent murders from happening.
That's what Israel Folau did, mate. It was just, he knew human nature, that we're all sinners, and he's told everyone to repent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he knew that he wouldn't be able to say for that long.
Why can't I?
Yeah.
But the reality of this concert is basically just a bunch of neo-Nazis in a garage at a private residence and, you know, just playing music, getting drunk or whatever.
They're not hurting it.
Yeah, that's all it is. But they want to track down wherever it is and shut it down. And this is what I was talking about.
Yeah, basically, they won't let you have anywhere. Like it's like Gamergate. They won't, like, guys decide that they've had enough of the real world. They've had enough of, like, you know, trying to get, you know, they've had enough of the dating scene, or maybe they just like find it a great way to relax after a hard day's work and after the kids have gone to bed. Either way, you're not allowed to have your own little personal space where you just have your own fun. They have to just get into everywhere. There's no way of escaping political correctness. That's the point of all this.
Basically, they want the Stasi now, who used to have informants in private residence.
Yes.
Maybe the Australian version could be called the Slacky.
I like that. Yeah.
In someone's honour.
Yeah.
We've got a super chat from Senator Slayer for $3 Thank you. Or he sent it through as a super chat because he did put it as a question and it's not a question. So he listened to my instructions. I've been to 2 ISD concerts. That's the neo-Nazi concert happening on the weekend, because Neil, he's been pretty open that he used to be a neo-Nazi. He said they don't bother the public and just listen to bands and chat.
Yeah, they're not hurting anybody. But you're not allowed to have your own private space. You're not allowed to have your own video games. You're not allowed to have your own music. The personal is political as far as these people are concerned, so you're not allowed to have your own personal space.
I've got a question from Maddie. Do you think
I'll tell you this. We have the Slate, if you don't know, the slateboard.com is a freedom of speech platform. You can talk about that. I own 10% of this platform. You can talk about that all you want. When they kick you off all the platforms, you want to go to your fucking talk about the stuff, you can go to that platform.
Okay.
Well, I won't stop you. I believe in freedom of speech. The slateboard.com.
ThinkSpot has now officially launched. Jordan Peterson, he was going to have a free speech platform.
Yes, is that actually going ahead?
Well, yes, because I saw Bettina Arndt, she's now got a profile up there. So I think he wants it to be the intellectual dark web version of Facebook.
Really? But what if people start suggesting that the reason for Jewish success isn't so much to do with their IQ, but more their the in-group preference?
Apparently, he said it's going to have a minimum word requirement.
That's not a problem.
Yeah. That's apparently going to be the way that
he thinks that's going to stop people on the alt-right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look, I've talked about the intellectual dark web before. It's basically one group of elites who are butthurt that they're not the elites currently, and so they're basically trying to replace the elites who are in power at the moment. So people
it's basically the globalist right rather than the globalist left.
The perfect example was when Dave Rubin, Jordan Peterson, and Ben Shapiro were all on the Rubin Report, and they're all saying how consistent their positions were and how respectful they are. And
then they all took their meds.
Yeah, and Dave Rubin was like, "We're having real conversations here." And I think James Fox Higgins, he summed up the intellectual dark web well. It's conversations about conversations about conversations about conversations.
I like James.
Yeah, and there was a intellectual dark web figure who did go rogue, because bloody hell, that is bloody loud.
You've got a well-trained Dusty. I like it.
Black Lungs bought me a beer, my brother.
Oh, you got him well-trained too.
See, I don't mind what people say. If it's on my chat or in my YouTube chat, I'll kick them out of my chat if they keep going on about racist shit. But that's only because it's not relevant to what I'm about or my chat. Do you know what I mean? Like I said about the Bigfoot stuff. If you keep going on about Bigfoot, it's like, well, this isn't about that. Fuck off. But that doesn't mean that I don't believe people should have a fucking freedom of speech platform. Do you know what I mean? There's sort of like a context. If people want it, it's like the Joker movie. There's something healthy about the Joker movie that people could see that movie, all the elements about that movie, have it fully expressed, and then maybe they're not going to outwork they're not going to outwork it. They're going to fucking be able to talk about it, get them ideas out, Oh, yeah.
And what I was...
I use GTA for that reason myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever, there shouldn't be, I think there's a right time and place to talk about your ideas or what you're going through.
It's an outlet, yeah.
And what I was going to say is that the rogue of the intellectual dark web, because remember Andy No, he used to work for Quillette, which is the preeminent intellectual dark web publication, but he was actually a street reporter. He reported on Antifa in Portland, and Quillette was very supportive when he got assaulted by Antifa, but when footage emerged of him laughing with the Proud Boys, Well, according to Claire Lehman, they parted ways. But it was interesting, a few days later, Claire Lehman posted an article, not on Quillette, but somebody else, about how nationalists had infiltrated the conservative movement. It's like, yeah, you fired him because he got too close to where the real battles are, which is on the street, the working class people.
Oh, no, I think the reason they fired him was because he actually revealed the fact that Antifa and the journalists are all in cahoots.
No, it was because he was laughing with the Proud Boys.
I think that was a pretext. I think he was very close to basically exposing, like just the treachery of journalists, and just basically saying, look, Antifa and journalists are one and the same, because the journalists aren't out there saying these people are communists, these people are terrorists. The journalists are basically taking Antifa's side, and he was exposing the links between
Yes, well, I'm sure Claire Lehman doesn't want to lose occasional spots on Sky News, for example.
Yeah.
And it was interesting, a few days before the Andy No became a household name because of the Antifa attack, Quillette got, I wouldn't say, it wasn't exactly an endorsement, but it was an instruction to give Quillette money from Jordan Peterson. And so, did Claire Lehman make that decision alone, or could someone else have played a part in that?
Sorry, I don't follow.
You don't follow?
No.
Well, Jordan Peterson asking people to fund Quillette?
Yeah.
Mm.
Can you just
Oh.
rewind?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan Peterson influenced Claire Lehman's decision.
To sack No?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't.
It's hard when you always change the subject.
Well, there's some questions here. Do you want to answer them?
Yeah, Maddie's got a good one. Yeah. Do you think the climate cultists over at the con are preparing to spend the night of the Nazi concert praising the science and demanding Lucifer silence all hate speech? Yes, I do.
And there's more.
Okay, what is it? We've got from an attack. Will Extinction Rebellion give up protesting in a few months when it becomes too late to halt the irreversible chain reactions they have been selling on their site and at rallies? Absolutely. That's a really good question. If we only have months to take action, then really their action is only relevant for a few months. After that, they basically can just go and do what they want.
I noticed that Martin Hartwig, our Brisbane reporter, he actually wrote a good Joker review on the Unshackled as well. I won't be able to bring them up on the screen, but I'll just read them out. He sent through some good mock Extinction Rebellion memes.
Oh, yes.
Park in a disabled spot. It won't matter when we're all dead in 2030. Well, they're disabled people. They're probably older, so.
we have to eat the disabled people.
Take out a high-risk loan and buy a Ferrari. We'll all be dead before you have to pay it off. Why would we vaccinate our kids when they're going to be dead in 2030 anyway?
Well, yeah, basically the argument that we make is they should take their own reasoning to its logical conclusion and just do themselves in.
I noticed that because I played on, it was on Trans-Tasman Talk. I could probably play some of it now, just because I've still got the footage. The 7 News footage from Monday, all the arrests in Sydney of the Extinction Rebellion. So where is it here? I think it's in... Say something, Dave. Well, pad while I'm finding this.
Oh, I'm reading the chat.
You're allowed to... I'm letting you
chat's
speak.
great.
I'm letting you speak. Or Dusty can speak.
Yeah, mate. No worries. No, I think they're all stupid idiots anyway. I was listening to some good hardcore... Have you ever heard of, like, hellfire preachers? And they're just like, repent, Jesus is coming back. And I was definitely thinking about these Extinction Rebellion people. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, at least Christians think we're going to get fucking raptured. Like, Jesus is coming back and we're going.
That's a
They're
happy
like,
ending.
See
Yeah, yeah.
See you, stupid idiots. Like,
So that means
these people have there's no happy ending. I'm gonna be like, fuck you, and do like a shoey. I'm floating up into space.
There's that meme of Jesus going, "Bye, cunts."
Yeah. There's no fucking hope for the Extinction Rebellion. They're like suicide. They want to fucking no babies, no future. Soylent Green, mate.
They should eat the babies and drink the Kool-Aid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that mean that because Neil Erikson disturbed their protest today, does that mean he could get charged with disturbing religious worship for a third time?
Yes, because they're climate cultists. Absolutely.
I mean,
don't give them ideas. Tim.
I know. I'm saying it as a joke, but
don't give them ideas. Yeah.
I found the 7 News thing, so just have a look at the beginning of this.
For some protesters, their revolution was short-lived. Others showed little regard for authority, confronting arresting officers. They're proud.
The only thing I can do is give up my liberty.
Where's the sound?
And it's worth it.
Passionate and eager to cause a scene.
We need to save the planet!
They're called Extinction.
Yeah, I just wanted you to see the did you notice 2 of the arrestees?
Like old guys in
Yes.
suits. Yeah.
It's interesting. They don't want childbearing women to have children, but they're still consuming and polluting the planet.
Absolutely. Did you also notice that they're all white? There was another article I posted on XYZ. It was written by an Indian guy who was basically trying to make the claim that Extinction Rebellion seemed to be a middle-class white phenomenon, and they're all happy to get arrested because like white people don't have to worry about being arrested like black people do. And so he was basically saying that Extinction Rebellion racist by accident, which I just found amazing, because basically it's like he's defining white privilege as allowing yourself to feel smug for taking left-wing political action. Basically, like, white people aren't even allowed to feel smug or feel good about doing all of the things that they're berated into doing. Yeah.
Oh, we've got a few. Maddie says, who has seen the footage of Neil Erikson going up to the climate cultists? They all jeer and call him a Nazi. How many of them have domineering mothers, do you think? Well, I don't know.
I think the answer to the climate change is that fossil fuels is going to save the day. Like, if we've got 12 years, I've only got 12 years and then I'm fucked. It's going to be fossil fuels that save the day. It'd be like a big fucking coal-powered power plant pumping air condition and having some green, big fucking, they'll be generating all of our desalinated water. They'll be generating all of our fertilizer, and we'll be able to get all this water out to the desert. We'll be like, yeah, we're all good. Fossil fuels is continuously saving the day. Just the same way you have a bloody submarine in the bottom of the ocean because of a nuclear submarine or a satellite out in outer space. It's like, hang on, if you can create energy, you can live anywhere. You can live in Alaska or in the desert, and it doesn't matter. So, like, these people are fucking stupid.
Yeah, but you're absolutely spot on. You're making the point that if our planet is undergoing like catastrophic climate change, we should be creating more energy so we have better technology to actually deal with it. Instead, they're doing the opposite of what we actually need to do, and that's deliberate. It's completely misanthropic what they're doing.
Do you know who hasn't gotten much attention this week, even though it is Rebellion Week?
Who?
Greta Thunberg. She hasn't been mentioned all week.
It's like she's been dropped off the radar. See how that happens. See how they do it. They let everybody go rah, 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 for a little bit, and then they move on to the next one. It's completely it's Alinsky tactics. They're always deliberately changing the subject because it's about keeping the activists always entertained with something new, with a new novelty.
Yeah. I did notice that earlier in the week, Bjorn Wilms, who was one of the songwriters in ABBA, who's a Swede, he was standing up for his fellow Swede and Greta Thunberg, saying that the male establishment are pissing in their pants over her. Well,
I liked who's the host on Red Ice TV? Jorg Sven, somebody. He said, on behalf of all Swedes, I'd like to apologise for Greta Thunberg.
I was a bit disappointed if he's a Swedish nationalist, Bjorn, why hasn't he defended PewDiePie?
Oh, I'm sure we'll get there.
But it was interesting he made that, because ABBA's never been political.
Oh, like that. Okay.
And in fact, I remember there was this British satire show, Rock Profile, where they made a joke that all of ABBA's songs are secretly political, because the joke is they were never political. But now he's decided in his old age to be. But do you know the ABBA song "Does Your Mother Know"?
No. Can you? But if you whistle it, I'm sure I could play it for you.
Well, the full thing is does your mother know that you're out? And it says, "Girl, you're only a child." And who does that remind you of?
All right.
So he's basically unintentionally 40 years ago released a song.
He saw the future. Yeah, it was. He was doing a bit of free writing. Yeah. So how's it all? How are we going? Do you reckon that's we should call it a night there, Tim?
Yeah, I think so.
I guess we've got one or two more.
Senator
questions
Slade.
in here.
That's not a question. That's an instruction. It's not even a statement.
You tell him, Tim.
It's an instruction.
Yeah.
So that is a big no-no. Nick Heath. That's not a question either. Meaning of concentration. Question, is our constitution being abided by? Of course not.
Of course not.
Dextro TV, what's your boy's opinion on Neil Erickson being accused of breaching the peace for confronting execution rebellion, useful idiot, blocking the street? I think we've already answered that.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
It's rubbish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that? Maddie again. David Hilton said Judaism is the Antichrist. To what extent do you find intelligent young souls agree with this assessment, and why? I'm not sure what article you're referring to.
Yeah, he's probably referring to his latest one, or he's written several on the matter.
Okay.
Basically, there's no such thing as Judeo-Christian values. Jesus Christ was crucified because he conflicted with Jewish values. Yeah.
Well, I'd have to read David Hilton's article.
Works-based salvation.
What's that?
Jews are works-based salvation, so Christianity is not. It's about Christ paying for our sins.
Yes.
It's not about keeping a moral law, but it's
right.
Christ paying for our sins, and then he gives us the Holy Spirit, gives us self-empowerment to then overcome your human nature, essentially. So you're supposed to have the supernatural ability to then overcome all of your fucked up problems.
Well said.
Somebody said in the comments, I'm going to make a crude joke here, said, I never knew ABBA songs were political. Well, they did have a song, Gimme, Gimme, Gimme a Man After Midnight, which is obviously referencing some form of degeneracy late at night.
Yeah, right. They also had Money, Money, Money. It's a rich man's world.
Yes. We've got a question from Atnick76. Now, she sent through a whole bunch of questions to my guest last night at Wilms Front, Rosalie Cristani, but I just ran out of time because otherwise Dia was going to yell at me if I went into her time. So I'll read this out tonight. Do you know that Extinction Rebellion have several training sessions of being strategically arrested, encouraging those who are willing to learn how to do it for the cause? I don't know of any specific training sessions, but I probably suspected that.
I'd say most of them would be white too, apparently.
Oh, Peter V's got one more question. You read the question.
Do you...
Can't you read?
No. It's just that I think he's missing a word or two. Do you, James Fox Higgins? See, he's missing a word. That's why. Yeah. I'm gonna assume that this is. Do you know James Fox Higgins?
Asking should James Fox Higgins?
Should James Fox Higgins do a cooking series involving babies? Yes.
Well, they're allowed to, at the moment, harvest babies' organs for research or whatever.
Yep.
Because that was actually one of the amendments that was voted down in New South Wales to stop them being on-sold, the baby body parts. So there you go. James Fox Higgins, just ring up the local abortion clinic and...
You can eat the babies.
Yes.
On that note.
Yes. Now, as I mentioned...
Oh, you've got a present for me.
Well, yes, it's not from me. It's from Rosalie Cristani, my guest from last night, who's City of Casey councillor, which is based in southeast Melbourne. She's been twice re-elected there. She's a proud patriot. She's opposed more mosques being built in the area. She was a member of Danny Nyalia's Rise Up party. She helped MC many of the Reclaim Australia rallies and also the United Patriot Front rallies. She's very proud of that. And so she said she brought this for me and Dave. She brought... And
is it a swastika cookie?
She said, isn't Dave the one you work with? And I corrected her and said, no, that's Steele.
Yeah,
and so
okay.
obviously she watches the Uncuckables.
Yeah, great.
But she's not watching Detonation.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, so
well, hello.
She grabbed another one from the car to give to Steele, but this one's for you.
What is it? Oh, is it like what is it?
This is what you like Christmas Day.
Yeah, pretty much.
Should have given him a shot glass.
Hold it to the screen.
Maybe the audience can tell me.
Yeah.
Is it it's like something that makes me smell nice?
Yes.
Yeah?
Oh, well, people are always saying Dave smells.
no, that's Maddie.
Mm.
Smells a little bit in here.
Mm.
That's good.
Yes.
You shit pants, mate.
Because when he went to Macca's.
Mm.
Well, thank you very much. It's very much appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, so we're just coming up to 2 hours now. We've pretty much got through.
I think we're done.
Everything. The only thing that did leave out was impeachment update. Well, it's not going to happen. The House is going to impeach him, but the Senate's not going to convict him. So.
Well, yeah. Also, like, they're sending all the impeachment inquiries to all these committees who can't actually make the decision because they don't want to put it to the House because then the Republicans would have subpoena power themselves, which means that they could actually put the Democrats on the roaster. Yeah. So it's not going to happen.
And also, the Reserve Bank of Australia has confessed that they want to print lots of money and go to negative interest rates to prop up the economy. So basically, sound money in Australia because inflation is theft.
Yes.
But nobody's talking about it. Even those people who should be talking about it are not.
Yes.
So
we're headed for a huge shit show.
Yeah.
Basically.
So enjoy everyone getting your money secretly stolen through inflation. Do you know who gets the new money?
I was going to say you may as well take out that loan on the Ferrari because we're not going to be able to pay it back.
Or invest in gold or Bitcoin.
Yes, that too.
Yeah. Yeah. But do you know who gets the new money first?
Yeah, the bankers.
Yes, bankers.
Yeah, and we get it for less value. Yeah.
Mm. Oh yes, does Hillary? She said she might run again.
I've been predicting it. Have I not been predicting this?
Mm.
She still wants to be the president, and she wants it as soon as she can get it.
And she's claiming that she beat Trump in 2016 because she won the popular vote.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, don't write her off. She'll get in there just at the last moment. Like she's basically lying low. She's she's playing a quiet man strategy at the moment.
Do you reckon she's maybe changed Joe Biden's meds?
So he doesn't get so gropey.
Well, because he tends to, like, he's always known for his gaffes, but they're getting so much worse.
For his gas.
His gaffes. Gaffes.
I'm sure we could meme Biden into.
Yeah, well, because we haven't thought about, because we just know
beautiful, I gotta
about
say.
the Clintons.
Anzac poppies, they're gorgeous.
Yes.
Yeah, quite
You figured out what it was.
Oh, I wrote it. It's written there. Yeah. I'm tired, Tim.
You're terrible at reading. Yeah, we'll call it a night. March for the Babies is on the annual pro-life march in Melbourne. It's on this Saturday, the 12th of October at 1 p.m. It starts at Melbourne's Treasury Gardens and then goes to Victoria's Parliament House. It's led by Bernie Finn, Liberal MLC. He's the chairman of the organisation. He leads it every year. It's always on the anniversary of the passing of the 2008 abortion law reform bill, which has basically been the model for these abortion laws nationwide, which legalised abortion up until birth. So it's done to advocate yes, you've got, you promote yours as well.
Yeah, Dusty will be there.
Where is it? Where is it?
It's next to Queensland Parliament House, next to, is it QUT University? So it's right there. I went one year. I made my way up onto the stage because I had my hat on and the my camera and and all the stuff. So they let me on the stage, and I was like, "Oh yeah, sweet." I walked up to the microphone. Hey, going everybody! And 4,000 people and I was like, "Yeah." So I'll try to do that again, and they're like, "Get away from the microphone, mate." That was brilliant. I'll be there. Dusty, just look out for the blue hat and go have a beer afterwards.
Is there any Antifa Brisbane counter-protest planned by, what's her name, Kathleen?
Oh, I don't know.
Because we've got all the Antifa groups counter-protesting. I love how they say that the March for the Babies is supported by Nazis. As I recall, the Nazis were big fans of abortion and euthanasia, so it seems strange that they'd be marching against that. It doesn't really make sense to me.
We had satanic globalist.
We had last year at the March for the Babies, one of the Antifa, I think he actually got disowned in the end. He was given the nickname by Morgan Monroe, Age Sheeran, and he yelled in the middle of the...
We haven't seen him, have we?
No, because he's
gone the way of Paris Hilton.
Yeah, he yelled in the middle of he got into the crowd and yelled, kill them all. Yeah,
he made a fuss at when Fraser Anning protested, was holding a rally outside of Facebook too. It was quite funny. I said hello to him. I didn't realize. I should have realized, because I met him and I sort of shook his hand and said a quick hello. And I'm like, thinking, oh, this guy looks a little pasty. It doesn't look like one of us. It made sense once he started calling out. I'm like, okay, now it makes a lot of sense. Also, if you're in Melbourne, get down to the Box Hill Police Station at 1 p.m.
Well, that's a different event.
Yes, there's going to be a protest outside Box Hill Police Station at 1 p.m. to protest against their treason by raising the Chinese Communist flag. So if you're not at the March for Babies, get down to Box Hill.
Well, so how is Antifa going to be in two places at once?
It's all part of our cunning plan, huh? We are Legion.
I do remember one. It was 2015. The March for the Babies was on the same day as one of the UPF Bendigo rallies, and Antifa, they went to Bendigo, and so we had a peaceful march. Yeah, they couldn't be in two places at once.
They can only catch the train so fast. Yeah. Everybody's people
make rallies next time, bro.
You'll be
right.
It's a way to do it. Multiple rallies, divide their numbers. People in the chat are asking for a specific thing. Do you reckon we should
Well, they have to, if they really have got a send through a super chat or
If we're
a
going to
question.
oblige. Oh yeah, or just a question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, we should wrap it up now.
Yeah.
So this, make sure that you're subscribed to the Uncuckables YouTube channel. Click the bell to allow notifications. You can watch this on replay. It's also in podcast form as well, so it's on Apple, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, and Stitcher. We also have a Uncuckables website, the uncuckables.com, where you can also sign up for an information newsletter when we notify you when the show is about to go live, and also the next day to remind you, in case you missed it, where to find the episode. And of course, I'll be back tomorrow night on Wilms Front, 7 p.m. Melbourne time.
Yep, and watch XYZ live at Maddie Rose Live at 9 o'clock on Monday nights, and come to the XYZ, xyz.net.au.
And stay tuned for the Unshackled and Wilms Front's reports from the March for the Babies. And of course, check out the unshackled.net on a regular basis. I'm no longer doing just fast news. I'm doing basically really long essay news articles, just basically going through every news item that's in the cycle. I go through its entire background. So earlier in the week, what?
I believe you.
Yes. Well, I'm just explaining it for our audience.
Yeah, good.
So I did one earlier in the week on...
And you got to do $5 shoeies.
That's your favourite thing.
Mate, we're changing the culture around here, mate. If you tune into Dusty Bogan's Thirsty Thursday next week, 5:30 in the afternoon, we're doing $5 shoeies. So if you want to see me drink a fucking half a stubby out of my shoe, tune in.
Yeah, so my articles that I did this week is the Prince's Cucking, which is basically how Prince Harry, he went from a alpha Chad military warrior to being this total beta cuck with Meghan Markle.
He should never have married Cheddar woman. Yeah.
Or American divorcee. Yeah. And my article that I just posted tonight is about Anti-Globo ScoMo, about his speech last week at the Lowy Institute denouncing globalism, and basically all the ridiculous smears that the media on the left are determined to throw at him. Obviously, there's the Macca's one, but also The Guardian. They broke a big story.
Actually, I heard that there was a Chinese journalist who actually wrote an article on Scott Morrison. It was I think her name was Hu Flung Dunk.
Well, this one, I don't know who the author was, but it was in The Guardian. Apparently Scott Morrison has a friend who believes in the QAnon conspiracy theory, and so The Guardian thinks he could be a national security threat.
Does he believe in the plan? He trusts the plan.
Yeah, and he's also been saying bad things about Julie Bishop and Alexander Downer. He runs a Twitter account. I'll just find it here. BurnSpy34. So hey,
I think we've got a super chat, Tim.
Not the shoey, mate.
This is a little different.
No, we don't. Fake news. Fake news.
Fake news.
Yeah. So follow this account. BurnSpy34, because this guy is not only is he considered a knowledgeable QAnon expert, but everyone's triggered because he's close to the Prime Minister. And what else did I put here?
Are we done, Tim?
Yes, we are done. All right. Yeah. And so the unshackled.net, Wilms Front tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Melbourne time on the Tim Wilms. I think I already said that. Yeah. Anything else? Oh, yes. Detonation with Steel Archer on the Detonation YouTube channel. If you're into transhumanism, make sure you subscribe. The show is live most weekday mornings in Melbourne.
Thank you to everybody in the chat. Always much
appreciated. Just say, repent all you sinners. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good work, Dusty. Always good to speak to you, man.
No worries. Thanks for having me on, eh?
Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks for coming in at late notice. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries.
Norks.